Welcome, divers, and welcome back to Subplot's FNAF Theories, where we go over FNAF news and media. Today we're looking at Dawkos' interview with Steel Wool. So let's get into it.
Hey guys, it's Dawko. I have a very special video for you today. I am so honoured to be interviewing Steelwall Studios again. This time I've got Evan with me and we're going to be talking about Secret of the Mimic. So yeah, very excited. I've been looking forward to this game for so long. We got the trailer a couple months ago and it looks insane. And everybody's hyped up and so excited for the release in June. So yeah, I'm excited for this interview. Well, Evan, thank you so much for coming on for
thanks
this.
for having me. Yeah, great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you as well. I loved your posters in the back, by the way, of like the FNAF Hello Neighbor as well.
I'm missing my Help Wanted one. I need that's what I need.
Yeah, you did Help Wanted one, yeah. And Help Wanted 3 as well. But yeah, just want to ask, how's it going? Like, how's everything going so far?
Seriously, my question is, why did they waste a perfectly good question that could be used on lore on a useless "How is your day"? That's one of the most mundane questions ever. But let's continue.
With Secret of the Mimic and just Steelwall Studios as a whole.
It's going really great. You know, things are getting all crazy, close to launch. You know, we're in the home stretch. Everyone's working super hard. The team is working incredibly hard to polish things up, and you know, it always gets wild, but it's all coming together, and it's really great to see it. You know, I think we've been doing play testing and stuff, and Trey, you know, the regular sauce, he's been doing his tests, and it's so much fun to watch. He's having such a great time. He's about halfway through the game, and he already says it's his favorite Steelwall game ever. So that makes me feel very happy. But what's funny is he hasn't even gotten to the coolest parts yet. You know, don't tell him though. I want him to be a surprise.
This is really interesting, because if there's something really important, it could be like lore or story, but this could be overall really important. And if he's gotten this a long time ago, and with the playtime almost being 24 hours plus lore, this is pretty impactful.
Oh, that is so exciting. I love the regular source, and yeah, that's so amazing to hear that it's his favorite Steelwall game. I'm so excited to play it. I really am. So what was it like developing this game, like branching out to something completely different that we haven't really seen in FNAF before, like the prequel to everything that we know so far and stuff?
Yeah, you know, I don't want to like spoil anything.
Yeah.
But it has been really interesting to, you know, explore this new setting and in the 70s time period, you know, these new characters with Edwin and maybe the origins of the Mimic, right? You know, it's great because we get this opportunity to explore a side of the FNAF universe that nobody's ever seen before. And I think that's, yeah, very exciting for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think loads of people are excited as well because I've always wanted a game like just before everything, like before, you know, like a FNAF Origins style game.
Right.
So yeah, I'm super excited. One thing I wanted to talk about is Ruin. So I know so many people had a positive reaction to Ruin and the vibes of Ruin. Do you guys think you took on those positive reactions from Ruin to put into this new game?
Yes, this is a really good question. Especially because almost all of the fandom is really expecting a high quality with this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've always talked about, as we're concepting this game, keeping the tone darker, more similar to Ruin. I will say there's a little bit less linear than Ruin was, but we wanted to keep a lot of the bespoke, really interesting horror elements there, right? The game is much more claustrophobic than some of the games in the past, which I think we really liked.
Because when I was at PAX, I played Secret of the Mimic in VR, right? But from the trailer, it looks like it's flat mode. Are you doing both VR and flat mode?
I'm actually quite mad about that, because I wasn't able to go to PAX, and I'm still incredibly mad about it.
On launch, or have things changed?
Yeah, we pivoted a little bit. We're launching in flat, Steam and PS5 flat, and we're going to take the VR coming after launch sometime.
Hey, that's awesome, because I get to play it twice then for videos, so thanks for that.
Exactly. That's why we do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was worried, like, if both came out at the same time, I was like, okay,
Right.
what am I going to do first? Am I going to do VR first? Am I going to do flat mode first? So, yeah, that's awesome. I can do both then. That's amazing. So, to be fair, I was probably going to do both anyway, but it's a bit easier now if they're releasing at separate times. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, as you saw at PAX, the game looks great in VR. It's super scary in VR. It's really, really great, but it's very challenging to develop both VR and flat at the same time. I mean, ultimately, these are different mediums, right? They have their strengths and weaknesses, right? The tech and the art and the design. It's challenging to keep both of these tracks, both these trains on the same track, basically, right? So we're separating it out, and hopefully we can provide, the best possible experience for the most number of players, at launch with flat, and then VR coming in soon after.
That's awesome. How carefully are you putting the books in consideration of Secret of the Mimic? So, Tales of the Pizzaplex.
Let's go! They're doing some of the book stuff. Actually, you guys should be expecting a new video soon about some of the books I've just read. But let's look at the answer.
Had a lot of lore about the Mimic and Edwin. Did you take that for this game?
Yeah, we've actually been talking about making this game for a long time, and we were developing the game kind of while these books are coming out. So yeah, I will say it's interesting. Again, I won't go into like the books and all of that, but it's interesting to work kind of in dual mediums.
That's awesome. I'm going to take a pit stop because Steelwall have gave me 2 posters to share during this interview. And I feel like now would be a nice time to do the first one. This is the first poster, and I'm going to show the second poster around the end of the interview. So you guys have to stay tuned and look out for that.
I think the poster we just saw, I think that was probably an early Fazranch, and the Fazranch we saw from the trailer, which I think is really important if Fazbear Entertainment and lore in total is this.
So yeah, the first poster that Steelwall sent me, thank you by the way, Steelwall, I appreciate it. It is a poster saying locked out. Your data diver is the key. So my first theory looking at that is that data diver has a bunch of keys on the poster as well. I'm guessing it's basically might be a mechanic where you can use the data diver to unlock doors and explore and stuff like that.
You're not far off. I
Okay.
think, yeah, absolutely. And it obviously has a more than a passing resemblance to the Fazwrench.
Yes.
And that's not unintentional. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I feel like people picked up on that as well on the trailer and stuff too, that it's very similar to that. So that's interesting. I love that. So yeah, you did say previously as well that it's less linear than Ruin. So are we going to go? I'm guessing that's more exploration in the factory and stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. When we talk about this game, we talk about it in layers, and that applies to both the narrative and the gameplay. There is a we call it the golden path, right? It's the main line that you would go to complete the game. You can follow that path.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. There's other things to do. There's other stuff to find. I'm really curious to see what people are able to find and how quickly.
This is quite interesting with the Golden Path and with the community and how popular this game currently is. I'm willing to bet that people are going to find it by the end of day 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me so excited because I love stuff like that because obviously not going to theorize about it, but if you explore different places, you find things that might lead to a different ending and stuff. So that is very, very exciting. Oh my God. I'm going to shut up now because I'm going to be like, oh, you get to find something that belongs to William Afton or something that belongs to Edwin and you get a sea Fred Bear or something. You know what I mean? I'll shut up now. But I'm so excited. When this game comes out, I hope you guys get to see my reaction to stuff like that. I'm gonna go insane.
I love watching the reaction videos. I watch all the streams. Yeah, it's the best.
I'm gonna go absolutely insane if things happen that are in my head right now. How much creative input did you guys have with the story? Was Scott involved or at all, like helping with the story, building it together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the best way to describe it is that we are creative collaborators, but Scott is always kind of the prime mover, right? He sits at the head of the pyramid. We've worked with him for many years now, so I think we've built enough trust that he allows us to make a lot of the on-the-ground decisions as long as we're following his overarching direction.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if you can answer this, but how is Scott feeling about this game? Is he excited? Is he hyped up for it?
I think it's fair to say that, yes, everyone who sees this game is very excited.
I totally agree with them. This game is going to be amazing. And I think everyone's going to love it. And I think everyone's going to say it's the best game of the whole franchise. And if you want to see it live, I will be streaming Seek of the Mimic when it comes out, day 1.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my god. Did you take any feedback from Help Wanted 2 as well, and development with that, and with Secret of the Mimic?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the impetuses for making the shift to flat is just that we can have everyone play the game on day 1, right? But one of the things we heard from Help Wanted was like, hey, that's great. I really want to play it, but I don't have a VR headset or something like that. So, okay, well, that's a bummer, right? We want everyone to be able to experience it all together on day 1. And then, absolutely want to support the VR side as well. But if not everyone has the headset, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I am so glad they're doing flat mode. Even though I have a VR headset, which I will start making videos with, flat mode I find is just a lot more better, and it just feels more not as scary, because I have a bit of a phobia when I played Help Wanted.
Yeah, I think that's the smartest thing to do as well, so everybody can play it at launch. Yeah, that's great. A lot of people have noticed new characters, new suits and stuff that I don't think were even in the books, the Tale of the Pizzaplex books. So what was it like just having that freedom to do your own things and creativity? Probably mostly for the first time, like making your own designs of costumes and stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's funny, right? Because this game takes place in a costume workshop. So you would imagine there's more than a few interesting costumes going on here. Scott really early on sent us key art that he had worked on with his artists that sort of showcased these creepy hallways and stuff. And he said, this is kind of the tone that I want from this game. And in that key art were certain characters like the mushroom and the jester and stuff. And we were like, okay, first things first, we're building these characters. So we basically took almost all of those characters and put them into 3D, built them all out. And then we said, okay, well, that's some, we need more. So how are we we gotta flesh out this roster here. And then we started pulling inspiration from, other FNAF games and where we wanted the story to go and what.
It's really interesting how they said we're gonna pull ideas from other games. 'Cause is that including Ruin from the basement, or some of the older games like FNAF 2, etc. But having so many characters, I think, will be really cool, and especially good for the FNAF memes section of the internet.
What sorts of things we were trying to say with the characters, and this isn't a Fazbear facility, right? So this is, some of it can be connected and some of it's not, right? So yeah, we started building these character roster out that in a way that was starting from Scott's concepts and trying to be in that same world. Gives us a great kickoff point from what kind of world he wants us to be building.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've already seen online that some of the new characters are people's favorites, which is so cool to see. And I can't wait to see that. Maybe some more characters and stuff. I don't know if we've seen them all, but yeah, it's exciting. This game is the prequel the earliest game that we've got so far in the FNAF franchise. The early years of Fazbear Entertainment and stuff. So, did you any games that Scott's made or you guys have made in the past take any inspiration for the development of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we look at all of the FNAF games. I mean, we are at this point we are FNAF experts, right? That's what we're paid to do. So yeah, we research very deeply into every FNAF game and look for any shreds of reference we can pull and connections we can make, because we really want this to be a contiguous part of the entire FNAF like continuum, right? We don't want it to live on its own as this weird side thing. But it's interesting too as we're developing the game. There's these certain themes that start reemerging. Right, I call it thematic repetition. They say like, what's the saying? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. It's sort of like that, right? These ideas.
For me, that sounds kind of weird because, for example, like the major moment, the MCI, could like this be similar in the games? Like all like killings, because that could be very interesting for the story.
Ideas that aren't necessarily direct one-to-ones, but there are these like churning, narrative motifs that come around again. And I think we see a lot of that, and having that emerge as a prequel is a really interesting dynamic, right? Because what does it say about, right, this like the sequel influences the prequel,
yes, right? Yes, yeah, that's awesome. How long has this been in development then? Like you said that you were working on the game early on when the books were being made and stuff. So how long has it been?
I think we first started talking about it kind of early 2022. Yeah, long time ago. And but it was always on the back, right? It was always like we'd kick around ideas and like, oh, maybe this, maybe that, maybe here are these story beats, does this make sense? We're talking about it while Ruin is being worked on. Eventually Help Wanted 2 is being worked on. And we didn't get full active development until after Help Wanted 2. So it's been about a year and a half of like, all hands on deck, full studio active development.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have been teasing about like this like for a while with like the Fall Fest posters and stuff. It always feels like you've had it like in your heads for a while. Like I remember in Help Wanted 1 when you guys had the Fall Fest. I think it was Fall Fest 1983 or something like that, and everybody was saying, "What does a Fall Fest? Have we doing Fall Fest?" And yeah, it's crazy to think that was 6 years ago, and now we're finally getting something of involving like that.
Damn, has it really been 6 years? Damn, that made me feel old.
That kind of thing. So yeah,
it's one of the fun things of working on a franchise like this is that we can look like really far in the future, and maybe we don't know exactly what forms things are going to take, but we can kind of see where we want to go and start laying some groundwork in the games that we make.
Like you said, the game's been in development for about a year and a half, right? How big is the game?
Yeah.
It's massive!
Okay, so it's funny. It's so hilarious. We wanted to make a claustrophobic game. We were like, okay, let's make narrow hallways, small spaces, and it's and originally being concepted, as a VR experience. Things in VR feel a lot like bigger than they are in flat, right? In VR, you can reach your hands out and touch the walls, but if you were to make a 6-foot wide hallway in flat, it would feel very narrow, whereas in VR it feels very wide, right? So we're trying to find like the right size of this building, and we know it's going to be a character workshop, we know it's a warehouse, so there's larger spaces and smaller spaces. And so like early on we said, okay, well, how big is this map compared to Security Breach? And we overlaid them, and the entire footprint of the facility could fit into Roxy Raceway.
Oh,
which
wow.
I thought was hilarious. It's like, wow, I thought we made a big game. But I think for us, it was all about density of design, right?
Yeah.
And there's multiple stories and secret passageways and, hidden false walls and stuff like that. So, you might find a smaller room, but it might have, a lot more going on than it would if it was the same content, but stretched in a much larger space.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think a criticism on Security Breach was that maybe...
What Doc was about to say, I think, is totally correct. Security Breach is mainly just walking from point A to B, or just going through very big ass long
It's
hallways.
too big, right?
See that.
So it's really cool that you guys are doing something like that, like very claustrophobic and in its own like factory and stuff. So yeah, that is very exciting. I can't wait to find all the secrets and the hidden vents and stuff to go through. The Mimic. Okay, so the Mimic is from the books. Just how accurate or true are you guys going to be sticking to the Mimic, or have you like? Again, this might be no. I feel like they might be spoilery, but like, have you
spoilers,
got? Yeah, like, have you changed? Yeah.
I will say, if you've read the books, you don't know the full story.
Okay, that's perfect. It seems like you guys. I know you guys are doing some like Edwin's factory's separate, right? But it feels like you also still trying to connect it with the FNAF universe at the same time.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't go into too much detail. Of
It's
course.
so hard.
But I will say this game was made for FNAF fans.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of connection if you want to look for it.
Do you know like an average projected length on how long the game's going to be?
Yeah. We've been doing the regular sauces playthrough, and he's 6 hours in. I'd say he's about halfway through just the main line of the game, which I would.
That's quite interesting. So, if it about is 12 hours for the main storyline, then we could probably safely bet with if we're basing off Security Breach, we're gonna say the average playtime is gonna be almost 16 hours, including lore. I'd say this is pretty important, and I'd say people are gonna love this game because it isn't like Security Breach, which has too much stuff, and it isn't gonna be like the earlier games, like FNAF 1, which too much little stuff.
Say he won't even discover half the game at that point. So yeah, we're looking at maybe like 8 to 10 hours for a single playthrough, and that's just like I said, like baseline. You could probably go 15 to 20 hours, and if you want to be a completionist about it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Difficulty
Damn, I was wrong.
wise, is this game challenging at all? Is there some hard moments that's probably going to make me cry on camera?
So yeah, we talked about layers.
Yes.
So there's like the top layer. You can stay at the top if you want, and the game is moderately challenging. It's what we would expect, like someone who's maybe never played a FNAF game before.
Yeah.
They come in, they play the game, and they have a good time, and they beat the game. They get the credits, and good job. But again, that's only the top layer. And as you go deeper, we're gonna start, maybe asking for a little bit more effort.
I'm glad they're doing a moderate level of scariness. But if I'm probably gonna do the scary mode on stream, I'm gonna be probably be scared shitless during the whole thing. So yeah.
I don't think it'll be like, UCN or anything.
Oh,
but,
50-20 mode. Okay.
No. But definitely, there's some more challenge the deeper you go.
So yeah, like you said, like there's like a top layer. So do you think this is easily accessible for new FNAF fans who haven't played a FNAF game before, can just dive in? Yeah,
that's the goal, right? And from a narrative way as well, right? We want to, we tell a story that everyone can understand, even if they've never played a FNAF game before. It's a game that everyone can enjoy, right at the top, but that's just this thin veneer at the top. And then very quickly, you start moving into deeper secrets and deeper connections and, harder gameplay and, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. From the trailer, we see, like I've mentioned before, new characters and stuff. Are there any that haven't been shown yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
There's a lot, oh my gosh. Huge shout out, by the way, to our characters team. When I pitched them what this game was going to be, their eyes like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, oh no.
One character I'm really hoping for is gonna be like almost like a dragon. I'm really hoping for a character like that.
There's too many characters. It's like, no, we can do this. I believe in them, and they pulled it off. It's amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. Awesome. Did you guys have, because this game's set in the 70s, right? Did you guys have any other influences that inspired this game at all, like movies or other games?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously FNAF games are like the biggest influence, but outside of the FNAF games, I really was pulling a lot from Alien Isolation early on. I think that was a really great point of reference for us, especially because, I mean, Alien being kind of like a retro futurism of the 70s anyway, it has some interesting aesthetic tie-ins as well as the gameplay stuff, right? And then outside of games, I would look at like environments and tones of like 70s and 80s horror movies, like The Shining or like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and that kind of thing. Not so much for the content, but for like, the aesthetics and the, right? And then also, I think the biggest one though, outside of all of that, are these like practical VFX workshops, like Jim Henson, like Tippett Studios, right? These practical effects shops. And if you've ever been in one of those, it's wild. You walk down these hallways and it's like, there's like stories just in piles. It's just like, oh, that's that thing from that movie and that thing from that commercial, and it's just spilling into their work. And they like.
I think that's pretty cool. And how they're taking inspiration from a lot of things, and especially from VFX shops, and how they're going to give so much story. And I think using this inspiration will even give some lore in the game.
They're like a hoarder. These guys, they make paths around their like movie props, and they're constantly. It's just so much creativity spilling out of every corner. And then a lot of the digital VFX guys in those shops work next to the practical VFX guys. So they're on their computers, but they're getting like, splatters from the paint and stuff. And it's just such a really cool, gritty environment. And we really wanted to pull from that. So, a while back we did some work with Tippett, and we went there, it was many years ago. And there's the guys that did the Jurassic Park, practical VFX and stuff. So, it was really great seeing that. Those were, I'd say, our biggest real world inspirations.
That is so cool. So yeah, like in the factory, like from some of the screenshots that we got of some of the rooms in the trailer, like shelving units with just a bunch of random different props and stuff everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait for that, because like I'm assuming you guys have put like props and stuff in that FNAF fans are probably going to pick up on. So
yeah.
That's
when
awesome.
the regular sauce was playing, he'd be like going through some of these and be like, "Oh my god, that looks just like my workshop." And I'm like, "Yes,
that's awesome. Successful. That's awesome." Developing this game, has it been a challenge? Have you had some like challenges that you've had to face, or has it been just a breeze basically? I don't feel like anything is a breeze. There's some ups and downs with every project and stuff.
Sure, yeah. Collaboratively making art has a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And I would say this game has gone a lot more smoothly than maybe you would expect. I think this was one of our better productions as far as that goes. I think the team is absolutely amazing. They are really pushing the boundaries of what we as a studio are capable of. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I think this game is some of the best work this studio's ever made.
I'm really glad that they're having challenges, and the most difficult thing is the art, because that really just means that they're making and more effort is going into this wonderful art that they're doing.
Oh, I'm so excited. And you can't even answer this, but after Secret of the Mimic, are you guys still in your FNAF brains after Secret of the Mimic? Future plans?
I wouldn't know. I don't.
I mean, I think it's obvious.
Yeah,
but...
no comment on that one.
Right, I'm gonna get the next poster up, because when I saw this one, it made my brain start functioning a bit better than it is at the moment. Next poster that Steelwall sent me. Again, thank you so much. Yeah, this one made me theorize a bit more. So the poster says, "Where do you belong? Basic, security, repair, creator, admin, executive. Your data diver knows." And at the top right, it's MCM. I'm guessing is that Murray's costume man?
Now that is pretty cool. Because I find, if you notice, the executive one is the actual logo of Murray's costume manor, which is executive. Makes sense. But having these logos, this could be like a mechanic with your data diver.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that is
Okay, awesome. Is this a mechanic in the game? Is this teasing a mechanic in the game, or is it just a poster?
Well, it's not random.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely tie-ins to the game and the progression loop of the game.
The symbol that made me think the most is the executive symbol. If this is the date, like if the data diver has these different things, it's hard. Do these different symbols give us access to different areas?
That'd be one thought. Yeah.
I just want to theorize with you, even though this is the problem.
let's think about this together.
Yeah, because the problem is, right, I can theorize loads, right, but you know the answers. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm cheating. Yeah.
Because I think from the trailer, I think we did see like the helper on the computer, right? I feel like that might have tie-ins to this and stuff, and maybe logs on the computer. But yeah, it's very exciting. It really is. Do you guys have anything cool planned before the release of the game?
Yeah, so after the interview launches, be sure to stay tuned to our socials, and maybe we'll tease something out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know I posted this a bit late, but if you've seen the socials, they have posted some things. If you've seen on their channel, they have done like the Stay Up VHS tape, which is the mimic in a coffee maker. I might make a video on that sooner or later.
Awesome, can't wait for that. Get everybody hyped up for the release. It's coming up it's came around so quickly. It literally feels like last week I was at PAX playing the game in VR. It's crazy how quickly development with games go. Like Security Breach was like what 4 years ago when it released. It's weird. Any final thoughts that you want to give out to the fans watching?
Yeah, I just want to like quickly, Dawkos, say thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to everyone who ends up watching this. We love making FNAF games, and we couldn't do it without the incredible support of the community. Like I said before, we make games for the fans, and that's like a responsibility. I know everyone loves this franchise so much, and that's a responsibility that we take really seriously. So to see the community like reaction to the demo and the trailers and like all the fan art that's been being made, it just means a lot. So yeah, thank you.
It's going to be so exciting. I'm sure everybody's going to love it. The reaction to the game, was so positive when the trailer came out and stuff. And you guys seem to be experimenting with gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, like taking FNAF in a fresh direction, right? And I feel like it needed that. I really do. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm thankful for Scott for finding you guys in the first place back when Help Wanted came out, and you guys have been doing amazing things since then. So it's very exciting, very, very exciting. I can't wait.
I just want to take a break and say, be thankful for FNAF. Be thankful for what Scott has done. And be happy with what he's done. Even though some games are worse than others, just be happy there's a franchise.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What are you most excited about from what you've seen? What's the thing you most want to see in the game?
Okay. Well, if I don't know if you watch my videos, but I want everything I've seen so far is great, by the way. But I want the thing what I love about FNAF is juicy lore. I love lore so much, and I just want to know like what's going on, like Fazbear Entertainment's involvement, and I'd love to. I'd really love to see some involvement with Fredbear's Family Diner, and seeing those Fredbear Family Diner posters on the walls everywhere. And I don't know, I feel like something's gonna happen, and I'd love to just the story about Edwin as well. Edwin's involvement, like what's Edwin been up to, and obviously lore about the Mimic, and yeah, Fazbear Entertainment's involvement, like them wanting the Mimic so badly, and the ending of this game too. I'm very interested in, like, you know, because in the future games, like Edwin is kind of forgotten about, right? And I just want to see just what happens with the factory, and just again the involvement with Fazbear Entertainment. I'd love to see. This is very high, you know, but I'd love to see like Henry or William being involved somehow. That would be really cool too. So yeah, you
Awesome.
obviously can't confirm anything.
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah.
I can't confirm anything, but hopefully we won't disappoint.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we got
awesome.
something for you.
Yeah, nice. Okay, Evan. So from this interview, you answered the question so passionately. Where did that like passion of like game development come from? Have you got like any? I'd love to learn more about you. You know, I'm sure everybody else would too.
Sure. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I feel like I'm an artist, and games in general, I think, are the ultimate art form. You know, it has the aesthetics and the narrative. I started my career in animation, and so being able to tell stories is something that I love, and I think games do it better than anybody else. That being said, the FNAF community is why I love making FNAF games. Truly, we've worked on a couple different IPs in the past, and you know, the communities there are fine, but nothing compared to FNAF fans. We've been working on this franchise since Help Wanted 1, and that was, I don't know, I think we started maybe like 8 years ago now or something. Yeah, and it's just been an amazing experience. So thank you.
That's awesome.
We're gonna end it there, but thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry that I'm late to this video. This was quite a long edit, and I just took a vacation. So, always be safe, divers, and always be ready to submerge again. One quick last thing. I hope everyone is hyped for Secret of the Mimic, and I will be streaming day 1 when it releases.